Santa's a problem. Santa is a creation of consumer culture aimed at getting people buying presents. Santa is a mixture of Father Christmas and Saint Nicholas, and it's not good. It's not helpful. As a parent of 5 young children, I think it's really a problem when parents fool their kids into believing in mystical, you know, elves and the tooth fairy and stuff. I just think that that really destroys a lot of trust between a parent and a child, and it makes genuine faith in Christ Jesus harder. Okay, yeah, we were lying to you about Santa and the Easter Bunny or whatever, but we're telling you the truth about Jesus. Well, when they're tapping into that same part of their brain early on, and then you pull the rug out from them later, I think it's a bad policy. I don't think it's good to tell your kids that Santa's real. I don't think it's good to like that you're seeing a bunch of kids getting fooled into believing that Santa's real. I think it's really, I think here in another generation, kids are going to look at their parents and go, "Why did you do this to us?" And we'll just go, "It's what we did at the time," and it's just not a good practice. The consumer and commercial nature of Christmas is simply unavoidable. Constantly complaining about it just makes us sound like curmudgeons. It's also the epitome of low-hanging fruit. So I disagree. I think that Christians historically, authentically, have always been seen as curmudgeons. Going back to the very beginning, there are ways in which Christians have refused to participate in the culture around us, where we've actually stood in a judgmental posture against the world, out of love, but still saying, this is not what life is about. This is actually standing against these things. And so, and I don't think Vickers would even disagree with me on there. I think he would just disagree with me about, are these Christmas practices that we have actually as problematic as I would make them seem? So that's the actual area of disagreement. But Vickers would not say everything the world does is good and we should not be curmudgeons about any of it. I think he's just saying a lot of these practices around Christmas are not really problems. Santa's not a problem. Consumerism's not necessarily a problem. Watching TV's not necessarily a problem. And I'm of a different mind that a lot of these things actually are a problem. That all Christian holidays, holy days, holy seasons, every day in Christ should be aiming us at God's glory and the good of our fellow man. And the self-absorbed nature of Christmas. I mean, this is something that early Americans did not celebrate Christmas. They outlawed Christmas in a lot of places because it so easily lends itself to debauchery and unholy merriment. So the fact that Christians would be shamed for issuing these warnings and saying, "Hey, look, you need to remember this. Don't do these practices over here. This is participating in a worldly co-opting of a holy thing." The fact that corrective would be dismissed, I have a problem with. I think that Christians need to insist on retaining the authenticity of our holidays and routinely be in dialogue with the world about ways in which we don't appreciate them corrupting these things. So color me concerned. Jeff says, "I think we need to fight evil, not culture. For example, can we win the war against things like abortion and lose the battle against Santa?" Can we win the war against things like abortion and lose the battle against things like Santa? I guess I'm too much of an idealist. I mean, I obviously feel much more strongly about abortion than about Santa, But even so, does that mean I'm quiet about Santa? No. I just, we have this saying in our language, "Is this the hill you want to die on?" And I don't think that's generally a helpful question, because then that makes life about like negotiating half measures and only fighting the battles that absolutely need to get fought. And yeah, there is such a thing as a person who's just always looking to fight every battle, and they're very tiresome. And I'm sure a lot of people think I am that guy. But the reason that we find such degradation in our culture is because we've let too much go. We've been too gracious. So I find myself on this side saying we need to be wound back up tighter. We need to be more disciplined, more concerned with the details, because if we only focus on the big stuff, Jesus said, he who is faithful in little will be entrusted with much. He who is not faithful with little can't be trusted with anything. And to whom much is given, much more will be given. But y'all remember these sayings. I think the way that we treat the smaller matters should match the way we treat the bigger matters. And that's why I think this is all connected. So, I appreciate the critique, and I think it is, Jesus critiqued the Pharisees for missing the forest for the trees, and you can definitely have some like Potemkin issues that are tertiary that you focus on way too much. That is a real thing. And I think we need to be continually mindful of that. But I also think it's important that we maintain a comfort with a posture that is countercultural. I think we need, it's not enough, I don't think, to say that we are against evil but not the culture. I think we need to understand that the way sin works, the way evil works, is that it is implanted in cultures. And it's disingenuous to say, oh, I'm not against the culture, I'm just against evil, and you just have a little evil here and let me take the evil out and the rest of you is good. I think the nature of sin is that wherever it finds a home, that's an evil place. And the reason people take offense to good preaching is because it makes people hate their sin, hate themselves. So we might have a legitimate theological difference here, but I think it is important for us to go ahead and come to terms with, this will just help you understand me better. I think we just need to lean into the countercultural thing. And going back to early Christianity, early Christians were seen as curmudgeons. They were also seen as very loving and very moral. They were admired by the society around them for healthy and loving marriages and being great parents and adopting the widow and caring for the orphan. But they were also known as being sticklers and not walking down streets where there was pornography and refusing to participate in the charioteering culture, and gladiatorial games. This is the line that Christians have always had to walk, where we love, but we love in God's way, which also implies condemnation and judgment. It's not all one or the other, it's both and. And the posture that we need to have towards the culture is, we love you, but you're dead wrong, and we got to correct you.